Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, I know it doesn't look like it behind me that I've got very much done on the Mustang, but I'm doing a few things here and there. Unfortunately, yet again, it's kind of storage for some parts for another car right now, but the inside is getting all cleaned out, and I'll show you the purpose behind that. Well, you may already notice, but I was getting ready to move this thing out and get it up on the lift so I can check out a few things. And I'd kind of forgotten I had taken the steering wheel off of this thing. Well, the reason I took the steering wheel off of this is because I was using it in another rig, and kind of forgot that I was using that in that rig and sold it, and now don't have the steering wheel for this car. It was not an original Mustang steering wheel. It was just an old, I think it was an actual Grant steering wheel, unfortunately, like an older one. But in the aspect of that, I decided, what the heck, let's start looking for some steering wheels. And right now I just need one to move it around. But then I saw some sales on Amazon for that Amazon Day thing. And lo and behold, I was able to find some things that I decided to buy here. So I'm going to kind of show you my Mustang haul. I found a few other things that I needed as well. I will put prices below of these things. And first of all, kind of a cheap generic steering wheel. I will put the name of the seller and the price below of where I got it. This just has made in China steering wheel. Now, on that aspect of things, I did look very closely, and this one did actually seem to get some pretty good reviews as far as being sturdy enough to hold up to using in a car. A lot of these really cheap ones are basically made for video game console things. I don't do that, so I don't know exactly. It was so cheap and yet got good reviews. And right now I need something to move my car around with. And it was on that sale. So yet again, I'll put a price below of what I paid as well as what they probably are going for as of when this video is coming out. So now to put this steering wheel on, with it being the 6-bolt pattern, you also need, because this is a 65 Mustang, a 3 to 6 adapter, which will adapt it to an older rig, I'm hoping. I don't know if all this is going to fit yet. I have not checked any of it yet. We're just kind of opening things up to see what we get. And I'll say, I mean, this is a fairly solid chunk of whatever, and it has 3 holes, and it looks like it has way more than 6 here. And I know there's a couple different bolt patterns for different ones, so I'll have to make sure that I line this one up with this one and make sure that works. It also comes with some hardware, as well as the steering wheel comes with an Allen key and a couple of wires for the horn as well. Now, I could stop there. I could have put this adapter on and put this steering wheel on. But you also notice the steering wheel is fairly flat. It doesn't have a very large, you know, it's not coming out very far. It's pretty flat. And in this car, I think that would be too far away. I went ahead and bought this, which is also a fairly inexpensive product. In a generic box. These are all in white generic boxes, but they were off Amazon, and I did look at reviews, and all these got pretty good reviews. Now I did look at the instructions, and they are completely in Chinese, unfortunately. But yet again, what I got here is, some of you may or may not know, a quick disconnect steering wheel thing here. You have to push on the button. It does have the safety lock, which I do like, so I can't just pop it off. You got to hit the button, and then it pops off like that. That pops on there, that goes on there, that goes on there, and the steering wheel will go on there, and I'll be able to pop my steering wheel off. quite honestly, I did this for a couple things. I think the cool factor, let alone, but also theft. I can pop this off, throw this in my trunk, or take it with me, and it's a little bit of an anti-theft device. You know, it keeps the honest people more honest, I guess, but it'll still deter some. Yet again, I will have a price for the steering wheel down below already. Here's the adapter that goes from the 3 to 6 bolt lug pattern, so you can put, pretty much it appears you can put about any steering wheel you want on it. And here's also the price I paid for, and what it is for right now on the quick disconnect deal here. This one actually does say Motafar steering wheel quick disconnect, so that it made in China, as well as the steering wheel does not say it, but it was sold by the Motafar or Motafair, whatever company, as far as on the Amazon store thing. So, and I'm not sure where this one was. Also made in China. But honestly, they all feel fairly solid. The steering wheel, we'll have to see when I put it on how solid that feels. Yet again, cheap. It'll do the job for now. Let's see here. What else do we got? So, there's the three things. The steering wheel, the adapter, and the quick disconnect. Let's go ahead and start putting them on. So, I'm going to check on making sure all these parts will fit together. I know 2 of them came from the same store, but I'm not sure about this adapter. I think I bought the adapter from a different one because it looked identical and was a little bit cheaper on that sale. But regardless, this is the adapter piece. Pretend like this is the steering wheel and I'm sticking this on the steering wheel. It comes with 3 nuts right here. Now those 3 nuts will go on the steering wheel. Yet again, I'll do this in the car for you, but I'm just kind of going over things, getting it set in my mind as well. It also comes with these right here, which yet again I should check all the holes and make sure that they're all working. But this would be, you could use these to put your steering wheel on. This is going to be the hard part, figuring out what's up and down here. I couldn't figure out how to get all these bolts in evenly, so I went ahead and put it all back together here, this. And I know I want that on the top, this button, the safety latch thing here. So I'm taking a Sharpie here, it's a fine line one. And I know this is the top that I want right there. So I know it lines up right in here somewhere. Now I also know that in my car, the way this goes is this way. Part of cheap parts is figuring out how they work or why they don't work. So I could get one in all but 3 holes here. Is that because of where it's made? Maybe. Is it because I'm using something wrong or doing something wrong? Maybe. But right now I know I can get these in, and that gives me the 6 that I need to have, and it's solid. It's very even all the way around here. That's where I was worried it would be off a little bit, but this is the only way where it's even in here. So we're gonna go with this. Ooh, don't do that. So there's the horn. It actually comes through the back here. And this kind of gives it a cover so that it looks pretty. Quite honestly, right now we don't need any of that. We're going to put that there. That's the top there. This is definitely one of those things that we're going to have to see how things line up in the car, because like I said, it comes with a couple different hole placement things. I'm pretty happy for the most part. I think it will actually line up for the most part. The part I don't like the most is this right here, the way this hooks onto here. And yet again, that very well could be I just got a hub that I paid less for, and it wasn't quite right. So we'll cross that bridge when we are ready to deal with it. Right now, I'm 90% sure this will fit my car just fine. The other thing is I need to get a seat in there and get this on, and one of two things is going to happen. It will be too far away, too close, or just right, hopefully. And the first thing is you want your wheels straight. My wheels are straight, but quite honestly, this thing here is pointing that direction, and things are all taped up. I honestly don't remember anything about the last time when I took the steering wheel off, other than I took it off. But regardless, let's get to it. Obviously you're gonna have to pull your steering wheel off. You will probably either, if you don't have this piece here, which you might not, this is a very old version of a aftermarket steering wheel hub thing. I don't think this was original. I also don't know, but I kind of doubt it. These appear to be a little bit stripped out, like I said, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the bolts that, the bolts that came with this to put this on for now. And yet again, I will put this on for good another date. I will kind of explain the wires, but I'm probably not going to actually hook any of these wires up where they work. So yeah, that's definitely got to go that direction, which is where these wires would be coming up through here. And then this has a little spot for the wires to come up through here. So then we're going to take the provided nuts and just loosely put these in for now until you get them all kind of in. Okay, so that's still a little bit loose. We're going to put the nut on here. I did not bring the driver for that, unfortunately. You'd want to make sure this is about where you want it and tighten that down. Quite honestly, I'm going to use these for now to tighten it down. Surprisingly, these are going in and tightening down very well. I think the top of it's stripped out a little bit, but the bottom's pretty good. Surprisingly, with being 10 millimeter, I don't know why, but that is on there pretty good. And just so you know, this is very wobbly. I definitely am going to have to go in and mess with the bearing. I think there's bearings and stuff in here I'll have to deal with later. I don't remember it being that way when I drove it last, so this is probably just dried up because it's been so long. Anyway, that's on there. We're going to call it good just to move it around the garage. I'll keep reiterating that. You know what? Just because I know I'm not going to use these, I'm going to throw them in if they'll go in. And then later on down the road, I'm actually going to probably go buy some black versions of these to replace everything with. So I'm definitely going to have to just kind of drill and tap these out one day, just for my sanity. Now, to tighten these up, you want to kind of crisscross where you're going here. I lost footage here. My camera quit on me, so I switched the direction of where you're at. Hopefully you can see a little better too. But where I was at was with these little things here. One would go in between here, the hub, and this, or whatever the steering wheel part you had, and this. And then the other one would go here. Like I was saying, it didn't come out on camera, I don't think, is that because there's two wires in here, like a ground and I'm assuming there's a ground and a power, that because there's two in here, that'll hook to the two that are in behind here, which it comes with all the wires you need to hook things up. You may have to change your fittings though, but yet again, I plan on doing another one of these videos when I finalize this, and I'll go into more detail because I'm realizing I'm just kind of getting a little bit of hurry. But this is part of the story of the car, and some people might want to know, will this work? So we're kind of getting this done. Otherwise, by the time I actually get back to this, maybe a year or two down the road. I'm hoping not, but it could very well be. But I started looking at this, and I'm gonna just put a couple of screws that I have sitting here in for now. And this, yet again, this is not the correct area where it's going to be. And it feels close, and it's a little bit high for I mean, I see right about here. So for me it's okay, but if my wife is driving this, I'm afraid that's not going to be okay. But yet again, that may be something I take care of down the road. One kind of neat thing, I don't know, this is going to actually be like this, I believe. Because for some reason, like I said before, this is just not quite right. But yet again, we're just kind of looking at things, testing things out, seeing if it's going to work more than anything right now. Putting a couple of those in just to look at them. And quite honestly, it's very comfortable. The position is quite comfortable. It feels a little close, feels a little high, which with these steering columns, I can actually push it in and out a little bit with some adjustments, and I definitely can bring it down a little bit, which, since I'm going to have this, won't matter if it comes down a little bit. But I do think I'm going to have to. That's nice. That works well. But I do think I might have to bring this down, which is just a matter of loosening up some bolts up in here, dropping this a little bit, putting some shims in there. These are things, yet again, if you decide to do it, you're responsible for your own safety. I'm not responsible if you do something I do and you hurt yourself. But regardless, other than the fact that the steering column is really not good, this part of it, even though I'm not completely in, feels pretty solid. There's part of my problem. I got this steering wheel pretty well straight now. My tires didn't turn a whole lot, so I've definitely got some steering issues going on now. Anyhow, I did turn the wheel. Now it's nice and straight, and the tires hardly moved at all. So definitely got some more issues than I hoped for coming down the pike. But now my steering wheel is nice and straight here. And as far as this, let's see. We'll go like this, boom, like that. That works really nice. Now, depending on your wiring, you're going to have to, I believe, these are just purely for a ground wire if you don't have two wires. Which some cars don't. Some only have one and then it uses the column to ground through. There are two wires in this, or I will figure out a way to ground it to the column, probably without using those if I can. Well, that yet again down the road. So now there's the horn button right there. That comes up through the back. So you got your wires would be coming from this part here that this hooked to, through it, into this here. The back of this has some things. You can see I can push on these screws actually. So these screws right here also push, and somehow they send electricity through themselves. I don't know how all that works, but there's also a ring here which I don't know, like I said, don't know how it all works, but somehow the electricity goes through here the way it needs to. That clips on there, that attaches the two together so that when this turns they simultaneously go together. You hook your wires to these two, which then in turn hook to these here. So you'll have a wire plugged into there and a wire plugged into here. I don't think it matters which is which. I'm not positive on that one as well. And then this I thought would go in here and it doesn't. So I'm hoping this will attach, and it doesn't. This steering wheel and this are from the same seller who say they work together. In fact, this is the one they say you have to buy if you're doing it. But there's this little tab right here that holds it onto this right here. So it keeps cutting off the camera, so I don't know if you saw it, but this piece right here sticking up will not allow this to function with that. And I've messed with it, and it's the horn button. So the only way to make this work is for this to come off. Quite honestly, I've already, I think, broke it, because this piece comes out here and I don't know if it's supposed to do that. I'm just afraid of having a non-functioning button, but it's not going to work either way with that sticking up. So do I send back this whole setup? I think not. This was the cheapest thing I could find. It'll function to do what I need it to do, but unfortunately you should know that this is not going to work with the setup that they actually recommend you buy, that hub right there. I'm not even sure if it would work with the hub that's hooked to, quite honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. You can decide to do what you want to do to make things work. I'm going to try and cut just this off so that this is still functioning on the inside the way it needs to function, but removes this piece right here. And then I don't know if it's going to hold on or not, so I may really be screwing up by doing that, but we'll see. Right now it's not functioning anyway. Still functioning. Still functioning. Right in the drawer. Still functioning, I hope. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's the only idea I have to get this thing working and in there. either I just made this a steering wheel that will only function for now, and I'll have to go for another one. That seems to be working. That should fit in there and work. That should go on there. This on here. Putting these on and start doing the tightening, last tightening here. Not only are you going into kind of a plastic piece that you got to probably be somewhat careful with, but you want to kind of do it in a more crisscross motion to evenly snug it down. But the horn's working, at least it appears to be working. Yep, see, I just heard a crack right there. So, and again, cheap steering wheel. Alright. I don't know. I'm not going to be doing that unless I'm in a real problem. So, there you go. Now you know. This will work. It is fairly comfortable. I actually am probably further back, actually. I'm going to definitely want this to come down a little bit. But really, I can see through here really well. I can see over the top of this, but I could see my wife not being able to. But I don't know if she could before either. It's got vroom vroom, vroom vroom. Got to do that once in a while. Then we got this, which pull that, or push that and pull. And then it won't, I don't think, go on any other way, which we've got to watch because it does actually want to try. But it won't. Nope, it doesn't actually go on. So obviously when you park your car, you're going to have it a certain way. Oh, dang it. And it goes on. But if you do have one of these and you are driving it on the street, you know, give it a good check before you go driving off every time you use it. So, will one of these steering wheels, aftermarket, cheaply bought, the cheapest one I could get at the time, work on a 65 Mustang or early Mustang? Yes. Is everything on it working perfectly in the way it was meant? Maybe. Do you need to modify it somewhat, probably, to make it work for your application? Definitely. I'm going to have to modify this. Now, you wouldn't have to if you were okay with having like 3 bolts on this side and 2 up over here for some reason, or if you could figure, I could not figure it, and I was able to get a few more in as well. There's only 3 that I can't get in the way it is right now. And what I'm going to do is actually probably wind up modifying this this piece right here, and drill this out a little bit bigger so I can get one in every one. And then I'm going to go buy some, probably something, I don't know, some sort of bolts, and fill every single one of these holes. Because couple things, this is going to drive me nuts the way it is. I couldn't handle that. Even though it's covered up right here, I can see it, so that would drive me nuts. 2, stuff will get caught in here. There, you know, dust, dirt, debris, things, bugs, who knows what else will go in here and clog it up, and it just won't look right. So as far as the part, it'll fit, you can make it work, everything's functioning okay. Looks, steering wheel's okay. These pieces here aren't too bad. Once I get the piece that covers this up, it'll look much better. This is more my fault. But they should supply bolts and make it so you can just put a bolt in every single one of these somehow or another. So, and even, I mean, they didn't even supply enough bolts to do that. If you use the bolts they use, even if you can make it with your deal work where they're even, first of all, they can't be because there's only 6. I mean, you could, I guess do 3 on one side and 3 on the other somehow, but there's no real way you can have them crisscrossing each other too well. But regardless of that, you will have open holes, which I don't like that idea. Oop, and that does happen every now and then. I have noticed my wife had trouble getting it on. If you don't get it on there and kind of just do it, it'll snap closed on you. But other than needing to work on my column here, it feels very sturdy. I mean, it'll do the, oh wow, it actually, that's working even. But these do work. That is another thing. As far as sitting here driving down the road, you're going to be reaching clear up here to do your signal. So something else you need to think about. Yet again, it'll work. It will probably, I'm going to have to do some modifications to it, but it's working. Well, sorry if that took too long and didn't have enough information. Yet again, I will be doing a more in-depth version of just pulling this off, putting it on correctly, getting everything done the way it needs to be, all buttoned up when I'm ready to drive it. Right now, I just need it to move it around like I've been saying. If you like this video or want to see more videos coming down the pike or ones I've already done, go check out my Back on Track Mustang playlist for my 65 Mustang here on my channel. Thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and obviously master none. You all have a good one.